Hello. Left my microphone on the next to the keyboard. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Miami Total Football Radio, the show, aka Miami Total Football Radio, the show. Joining me after a long absence is, as you can see and as you will hear, Alonso Contreras, aka Alonso El Búho. Alonso El Búho Contreras. That's your official nickname on the show as of a few cameos ago. I, of course, am Franco Panizo, your usual co-host here. Alonso, it's good to see you again, my friend. It's been a little bit. Although you appear at Chase Stadium without any
all the time
to me. Yeah, but you don't even tell me sometimes these days. You just show up. So
I mean, it's common sense. I'm doing good. Happy to be back. And yes, I haven't been in the show, but just to the Inter Miami audience, I've been going to the game. I think the last 3-4 games.
Alonso has been present. He has been present. Alonso, how was your Halloween, my friend? Did you dress up as Pedro Galese, as Maximiliano Peluca Falcon? What did you dress up for Halloween this year?
Oh, it's a Peruvian national song. So I went to a restaurant to eat ceviche and to sing some Peruvian music.
Did you get dressed up?
Songs. No. I think I only dressed up once. Does it?
Alonso, that is terrible. That is terrible. I'm over here. ¿Qué vas a decir? ¿Qué vas a decir?
No, that's a tradition, no, for Peru on the 31st.
Well, yes, but here in the USA, my friend, we go out, we get dressed up. I mean, kids get candy. I'm sure your kids have gotten candy over their lives. I'm sure you've taken them out.
Well, my kids are older, so they went to a party. Well,
see, there you go. But they got dressed up, and they did the whole thing. I got dressed up this year. I did a family costume. We were the Flintstones with the doggy included. The doggy dressed up as Dino. And then for my own costume that I wanted to do, I'll save it for a little bit here. Alonso, we've got a lot to talk about. It's going to be a good episode, a juicy episode, an interesting episode because a lot of opinions I'm sure will be had here. Inter Miami enters this weekend in a do or die scenario. They face elimination against Nashville SC. A game 3 will decide who advances to the next round of the playoffs after Inter Miami's 2-1 defeat to Nashville. We will, of course, recap that game. We will, of course, preview the upcoming game, but we, of course, have to start with one of the bigger news items of the last few days, and that is Luis Suarez. MLS announced on Wednesday, almost out of the blue, seemingly out of the blue, casi del aire,
unexpected,
that Luis Suarez would be suspended for this upcoming match at Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, because of a kickout that he did against Andy Najar in the second half of this most recent 2-1 loss to Nashville. This is he was fined and he was suspended for the one game. Now, straightforward, you get that news from MLS, you get the press release from MLS, el comunicado. But what was a bit different was that Inter Miami put out a press release not too long after, and it reads as follows. Quote, Inter Miami has received official communication from Major League Soccer regarding the one-match suspension imposed on our player, Luis Suarez, for an action that occurred during last Saturday's match in Nashville. The club would like to state the following. Inter Miami CF accepts and respects the decision made by the MLS disciplinary committee. At the same time, the club wishes to express its concern about the precedent set by re-refereeing a play that had already been judged by the match officials and VAR, and its confidence that the same standard will be applied in the future to all on-field situations in any match and involving any team. End quote. Alonso, there's a lot to unpack here with the suspension, with the reaction to the suspension. And I will let you start wherever you'd like, because we're going to talk about the play in general and what we think about it. But I guess we just start with Inter Miami's reaction. I mean, what do you make of Inter Miami's comunicado, Inter Miami's statement in response to Suarez's suspension?
I mean, it makes total sense, because if the VAR already checked, the referee checked, why are you trying to find a way to like punish something that wasn't punishable? In the video that they show, because we don't know what video they watch, the MLS discipline committee. I mean, first of all, I would like to know who is in that committee. I think that will be transparent. If it's people that work more in the administration side, or they're like former players that they can read these disciplinary behaviors. But in the video that MLS provided with a statement, you can see that he is looking forward. He's opened his arm to protect himself if the ball comes to him, and Andy Najar end up hitting himself to his arm, elbow, hand. It's not like he's moving his elbow, he's moving his arm. No, he's opening his arms. You can open your arm. That's that. I mean, from the soccer that I know, you can open your arm to protect yourself, and I think it's very unfair. And for all the people that is against Inter Miami and they don't like Messi, and they say the MLS always favors Inter Miami, they need to show this, because last year they lost on this round. They got eliminated, and taking Luis Suarez out when everybody knows that Mascherano doesn't have another number 9. So I don't know, it's interesting, because if they get disqualified, MLS will lose 70% of the viewership, because let's be honest, they watch it because of Inter Miami.
So you touched on a lot of things there, and
because it's complex.
It is complicated, and that's why we're starting with this topic, because there's a lot of layers to it, and I wanted to just.
I mean, you're talking about Suarez. It's not like I'm sorry. It's not like you're talking a regular other forward from other club.
Okay, but so let's unpack. Let's start from the beginning with the tussle. Now, obviously, we can't show you the play here.
What?
We don't have the rights to Apple TV.
You do. You do. No, but you do.
I don't want any infraction.
Do you have access to them? No, but do you have access to MLS?
But I don't. But there's a whole story to it, Alonso, which we're not gonna get into here.
I'm gonna add you to the list.
I'm on the list, but
so show it then.
By rule, you're not allowed to show that unless you're a rights holder or a TV. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Well, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. So I'm following the rules. But so all the same, you can find this play on social media. Look up at Twitter. My Twitter handle is there. Just can't use it on YouTube because I don't have the rights. Anyway, the moment happens where Suarez and Andy Najar are off the ball. Najar is marking Luis Suarez near the top of the 18.
He's coming from behind.
Near the top of the 18-yard box. There is a jostle or a tussle, a little agarrón, little handling there. And you see Andy Najar, from my viewpoint, gets handsy and pushes Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez feels the momentum. And before I get to my opinion, his leg comes out and makes contact with Andy Najar. Now, the play was reviewed during the game by VAR. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking up the play right now, Alonso, please look it up, because I don't know if you were talking about the same play I'm talking about.
Yeah, if you're looking at.
So the referee and VAR took a look at it, and they deemed nothing was amiss. They deemed that there was nothing to it. MLS, a few days later, decides that's incorrect and that their disciplinary committee has suspended Uruguayan striker Luis Suarez as a result of that incident, which they perceive as him kicking out at Andy Najar. So that's the chronological summary, el relato, the breakdown of what happened. No opinion, just straightforward.
Yo, no.
But now if you want to get to opinion, now this
so
is where
you push.
Hold on. We can peel back the layers now. I'm willing to hear you out again because you had your chance. It is a kick out from Luis Suarez. He absolutely intentionally kicks out. Now, it's not excessive force. It's not overly violent, but he does kick out. He does raise his leg in una manera exagerada, in an exaggerated manner.
But if he pushed
back at Andy Najar. Okay, that's fine. That doesn't give you
the
right
is Andy Najar suspended?
Andy Najar is not suspended. Pushing.
Why?
Pushing is part of the game. My friend. Jostling and getting handsy is part of the game.
No, push is not part of the game.
Oh no, it's not part of the game. So they don't push on corner kicks. They don't. Okay, Alonso.
They don't push. You can put hands, but you push. Alonso. It's a foul.
You can get handsy. That happens.
Handsy, but not push. But don't.
You can say again. There's not an excess amount of force either from Najar or from Luis Suarez. It's not like he shoves him to the ground. And,
who saw the foul?
So Andy Najar starts the sequence. Now Luis Suarez retaliates, which is his mistake, right? If he doesn't do that, then we're not here talking about this moment.
So what is the punish for Andy Najar?
But Luis Suarez kicks out.
You can.
Luis Suarez with his reputation.
But that doesn't matter.
That does matter, Alonso.
No, because you're talking about this scenario.
Alonso, it matters. Reputation matters. That influences things. That impacts things. You can say no.
But because you cannot judge somebody twice.
Of course you can. Why can't you?
No, because you can. Because that's on the past. He already got punished for his bite, for the speed on the Seattle Sounders security guard. That's in the past.
Luis Barrios 9533 says, sorry guys, but the guy is on the shit list of MLS nasty guys. He earned that and he deserves the title. The guy's antics are ridiculous. He's always complaining. Honestly, it's disgusting. So that's Luis Barrios' opinion. I'm trying to stick on the football opinion, right? And he does kick out. You can't kick out, right? Like you can't just kick out at anybody because
you can push it.
They push.
You cannot push it.
Alonso, you can push.
What happens if you push and he hurts his groin?
So if you push someone and the referee sees it, they can call a foul. But normally that's not going to lead.
So we could
normally, I bet I want that. Normally, you're not going to get a yellow card nor a red card for pushing someone.
Right? Okay. So that's a pick. Right.
So it could have been called a foul. Sure. Okay. But the kick out is the more egregious error because it's a violent off the ball movement. Now there's no excessive force, but he's clearly trying to cause some type of damage to his opponent because he's not shoving back. It's kicking out with his studs. He gets him in the thigh, in the groin, wherever you want.
But if somebody pushes you, you're trying to keep the leverage, and then you probably kick in the back by accident.
Francisco García says, Alonso, ¿acaso juega de delantero que él nunca ha empujado?
No entiendo la pregunta. Alonso, he's asking me or he's trying to say Luis Suarez?
I mean, he's asking a question.
Alonso, put a question back. Alonso, ¿acaso juega de delantero que él nunca ha empujado? ¿Que él quién?
El que nunca ha empujado, I think he's trying to say. The point is that forwards push, center backs push, center backs get handsy. Anyway, we're not going to stick on just this one point. There's a lot of layers to this. There's a lot of layers to this. Clearly, the kick out is the more egregious of the two things. Now, where I believe that Inter Miami has an argument is that if it went to VAR, right? Because VAR is implemented to cover for any refereeing mistakes in the moment, right? That's the whole reason why we have video review.
Depends, but especially in the box. So this is legit.
So it went to VAR, and again, nothing happened. There was no yellow card.
They knew it was a PK.
There was no red card. Nothing happened from this. So MLS a few days later with this disciplinary committee rules that that's not the case, that it was a wrong decision. They deem it to be egregious. They deem it to be suspension worthy. I understand Inter Miami's frustration. I understand their point that if there is a referee and there's also a video referee, and both of them in the moment did not deem it to be red card worthy, then why do you, from your arbitrary office or with your arbitrary members in the committee, like you said, who we don't know who the full committee is?
We should.
Do we know if they have conflicts of interest, former players that played for other teams? We don't know it. We don't know that, right? So I understand Inter Miami's point that it feels wrong to them because there was officiating that could have happened on the field during the game. The problem is, while I can understand Inter Miami's point of view, I don't agree with it because guess what? You knew the rules. MLS is a league that has a disciplinary committee and has long had a disciplinary committee. And that disciplinary committee routinely, regularly, weekly hands out retroactive fines and or suspensions. This is not something new. This is something that's been in MLS for a long time.
So the committee should say it was a PK, we couldn't catch it, so we want to punish both of them. I don't know, because he initiates the play, Andy Najar. It's not like Suarez trying to be like, okay, he's coming, I'm gonna kick him. No, he initiates a play. I mean, the foul.
A defender normally gets handsy with his mark. That's normally the case.
Yeah, it's true, but you have to have a lack of experience if you do inside the box, because anything could be a PK.
It could be. And Suarez, who is experienced veteran, we won't take anything away from what he has accomplished in his career. He's been a tremendous player. He should know better. What does he do?
I didn't see anything wrong.
In the era of VAR, he kicks out. Now, some people want to argue that he was falling over.
Exactly.
That his leg barely lifted off the ground.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, somehow it got into Andy Najar's thigh.
No.
Area.
Because he was coming into it. So he was like, okay, Moncaer.
Okay, if we want to play the naive or el ingenuo, then we could play that game.
So what is the VAR for? So don't spend the money on the VAR.
Correct. So get that point, and I understand, and maybe, and I tweeted this yesterday, maybe it needs to be revisited. MLS needs to revisit this whole MLS disciplinary committee after the fact for things that are decided on the field by referees and video crews.
If I'm the committee, I will suspend the people from the VAR too.
Maybe this needs to be revisited, and maybe there needs to be
if I have
different processes in place. But
if I have to
the rules, Alonso, today are the rules as they've been, and they don't change now because Inter Miami.
But I want to know who's in the committee, because I don't see nothing wrong with a kick.
Inter Miami, in that comunicado, in that press release, tries to play the victim. It tries to play the victim. The last paragraph here, which I'm showing again, and it's poorly written, by the way. Poorly written because it's not clear. There's a lot of thoughts. They probably needed to make this 2 sentences because it's kind of confusing.
Made in Spanish and translated.
At the same time, the club wishes to express its concern about the precedent set by re-refereeing a play that had already been judged by the match officials and VAR. That part's clear. This is the part that's not clear. and its confidence that the same standard will be applied in the future to all on-field situations in any match involving any team. So is the club wishing to express its concern about its confidence? Is it about the match officials and VAR? Anyway, I'm not going to fully dissect the whole way it's written, but it's definitely a bit.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is, in the future, please call everything the same way.
Correct, but that's a way of saying, oh, we want to make sure that you call all the games with the same type of.
I mean, you have to understand, like, when they play Columbus or Cincinnati, if they advance, they're gonna be the same thing. Hey, but this.
So again, it's clear that MLS doesn't just hand out these retroactive suspensions just to Inter Miami. This happens across the league, Alonso.
I don't know.
On a weekly basis.
Yes, yeah, but you have to think like you're doing an up. I mean, you have to, like, I would have solved it different. You know, I would have called Suarez, sent a statement, be like, hey, we think this is a foul. A foul, you know, with a bad intention that you kick. We know that VAR review it. They didn't call it. They didn't see the difference. So we open investigations to those referees. They're not gonna be the referees at the VAR when you guys play again. But if we have to intervene again, we're gonna make sure that you have 1 game suspended, regardless if you reach to the MLS Cup final, semi-final, or division conference, whatever, the next round. That's it.
They don't need to warn them. It's already the precedent has been set, Alonso. They don't need to set. It's already been set, and that's the funny thing about Inter Miami's press release, is that they say, at the same time, the club wishes to express its concern about the precedent set by re-refereeing a play that had already been judged by the match officials and VAR. That happens every week. There's a disciplinary committee that, correct, we don't know who they are. We don't know how they make their decisions. Correct. We don't know the full process. But guess what? This precedent has been set a long time ago. Inter Miami's wording there is to victimize itself, that they're being hard done by.
Okay.
And look, by the way, Luis Suarez being absent this weekend could be a blessing in disguise for Inter Miami, because we're not going to say that.
No, but change that. So for example, what happened when Messi grabbed the neck of the NYCFC head coach? I mean, assistant coach.
When Messi grabbed him at the beginning of the season.
Yes. He got suspended?
He got a fine, I think.
$250. Yeah, okay. I mean, the suspension is not even $1,000. We all know that. I mean, so you're doing it to Suarez because you know that they can still win in the game. When Messi went out and say, after they lost 3-1 to Orlando City, the referees are not doing a great job. When Zlatan said it, he got suspended, fine. I'm not against Messi, but what I'm trying to say is, I think MLS is speaking on Suarez because they think, it's a good chance that they still advance.
So your theory is that they're punishing Inter Miami because they don't want Inter Miami to go through. Is that what you're?
No, to me that we're gonna be fair. We're gonna look fair, and that we are fair to everyone, because we know that people are still, the audience is still gonna be in the stadium and on TV for Messi, and we know that Messi can carry a win without Suarez. Because I promise you that if that would have been Messi, nothing would have happened. It would be like an undisclosed fine.
Maybe. But that is where
look what happened at the beginning of the year.
That is where reputation also comes into play. And Luis Suarez, Alonso, you don't have to.
So Messi doesn't talk.
Alonso, you don't have to agree with the opinion that Luis Suarez is a dirty player. You don't have to agree with that. If you think he's the cleanest player in the world, okay, I don't think he's the cleanest, but it's soccer. He's soccer. Okay, Alonso, okay, está bien. You can have that opinion, no problem. I'm not even saying I fully agree with it, but the perception exists, and that you cannot deny. You cannot deny that there is una percepción de que Luis Suarez es un jugador sucio.
So
he might not be a player sucio in your opinion, but that perception exists. Sí o no?
But
sí o no?
Yes. But the perception exists too that Messi does whatever he wants after the game because he done it twice or 3 times this season. So, and he never gets suspended. He just got fined. So what I'm trying to say is, it's nothing against, I mean, I like Messi. It's nothing against Messi or De Paul or Busquets or Suarez. But I think the league is trying to show that they are all about the rule book. They're about fairness and everything, because they know that that Messi can carry the team still without Luis Suarez.
I will say this before we turn the page and start going into the game itself in more detail. Like, I get the frustration from Inter Miami, and I get the criticism from people like you or from other people that think it's ridiculous to re-referee a refereeing decision that already has a VAR crew
twice
to help. Right. So I get it. I understand that. And honestly, if I was the referee and I saw that, I'd probably give him a yellow card.
No PK.
No, I don't give a PK. No. I probably give a yellow card.
You
it's like gotta. I'm telling you
because it made no sense, bro. Look,
what I give a yellow card. I would give a yellow card. Hold on, let me finish my thought. I would give the yellow card, right? Because it wasn't excessive force. Is it an off the ball incident in which he's clearly trying to?
Yeah, if you give the yellow card, the committee will be like, we think it's a red card.
Okay, Alonso, let me finish my thought.
Hurry up.
I would give him the yellow card because it wasn't like he kicked him so hard that Nahara was down on the ground and in a lot of pain, and he tenía una marca. He had cleats imprinted on his thigh or on his groin. It wasn't red card worthy. That's just my stance, my opinion. But MLS is a different type of league. This is an American league, and now we're going to talk about culture and I don't really like to get into these topics when it comes to football, but MLS is an American league, brother, and an American person in general is categorized by trying to be fair, just. American people don't like diving, right? In South America, diving's not that frowned upon. South America is like, bueno, se tiró, yeah. But South America, we're more like, oh, bueno, it's part of the game, you know. It's vivo.
That's what we have. That's what we have 3 World Cup champions and here 0.
Okay, Alonso, but the whole point is that this is an American league with an American mindset and mentality.
Andy push Suarez.
Sure, but in the eyes of MLS, that's not red card worthy. But I get your point. So if you can go back and give Suarez a red card, why can't you go back and say, oh, there should be a penalty kick, replay the game from them? I get what your point is. But this is an American league with an American mindset and American mentality. And that's how the general American does things, generally speaking, right? And again, I know I'm generalizing, but that's how it is, man. It's in South America or in other countries, their leagues don't have things like this. But in MLS, because they want to be by the book, they want to be right, they want to be just, they want to be fair, or they want to be perceived as such, even if you could deem it as hypocritical because it's inconsistent. Well, this is part of the culture of the league, for better or for worse. Could it be revisited? Absolutely. As of today, this was the rule. Inter Miami knew it. Inter Miami does not get to wipe its hands clean and say, oh, well, that's not fair, because when Inter Miami did things that was allowed by the rule book, Mascherano on his cell phone during the Leagues Cup, they were like, oh, bueno, no hicimos nada malo. We didn't do anything wrong. It's in the rules. Is it not in the rules that we can do that? Okay, well, the rules are the rules then. The rules are the rules across the board. You don't get to pick and choose Inter Miami when the rules apply to you and when they don't. These were the rules before. You lost on this one.
I mean, tomorrow you guys gonna be at the press conference, so you can ask him.
Well, we will ask Mascherano tomorrow, I'm sure. Let's listen to Mascherano, actually, because we've been talking for a while. Mascherano didn't directly comment on that moment. He did talk about the refs vaguely because there was a controversial play. We'll talk about the game in more detail here, but let's listen to Mascherano first to give ourselves a little bit of water.
Bueno, claramente en cuanto Al arbitraje no prefiero no opinar porque después sé cómo funciona el sistema y no quiero, no quiero estar o que tengan una excusa para venir a decirme algo. Me sorprende, simplemente me sorprende que no hayan ido al VAR para rechequear. Hay una herramienta que es el VAR y no entiendo por qué no van a chequear al VAR. No cuesta nada, si total, de tiempo completo se ha jugado poco y así que demorar unos minutos más en el VAR no cambiaba demasiado con todo lo que se ha demorado y dieron solamente 6 minutos cuando en Miami dieron 11 por mucho menos. Pero bueno, tragar la bronca y acumularla durante toda la semana para poder descargarla el sábado que viene en nuestra cancha con nuestra gente.
So to quickly translate, he says he was talking about
the VAR doesn't exist.
No, to translate and paraphrase, he says he doesn't want to comment on the refereeing because he knows how the system works and he doesn't want to give MLS any reason to come after him, but that he was surprised, and this is where he's going more precisely to a specific play. He was surprised that VAR did not take a look at the foul that was called on Rocco Rios Nova that leads to the penalty kick and the opener for Nashville SC. He was surprised by that. He also makes mention that there were only 6 minutes of added time in the second half, whereas in the first game of this 3-match series, there was 11 for what he called a lot less. So clearly, indirectly, he's saying the refereeing played a part in this game. Do you agree with that, Alonso? You saw the game. Do you agree that the refereeing played a part in Inter Miami's demise 2-1 at Geodis Park?
I don't know. I don't know exactly, but I know Mascherano is pretty much saying that the referee forced to game 3. The PK, I don't know, man. I don't know. I know it's chin to chin, but the goalkeeper is standing and the shin.
Shin to shin. Chin to chin. I'm just teasing. I said
chin. Yeah. No. But the shin with the S, I don't know how is that a PK.
Let's start there because that's where this rainy game in Nashville, really gets underway. There's a ball played in behind Inter Miami's high back line. Rocco Rios Novo duda. He doubts himself or doubts what he's going to do for a split second in terms of coming off his line. That decision allows, I believe it was Sturridge?
Yeah, Sturridge.
Sam Sturridge. I believe it was Sam Sturridge gets to the ball as a result of that decision. He tries to round Rocco Rios Novo with a very heavy touch that goes actually away from goal. It's not even going towards goal, but it is in the penalty area. Nobody else around. Rocco Rios Novo holds his ground. He doesn't dive out at him. He just holds his ground. And there is contact, shin to shin. Very light, but there was contact. It's called a penalty kick on the field immediately. I'm with you. I don't think I call that a penalty kick. Rocco Rios Novo, yes, there's contact. This is a contact sport. Rocco Rios Novo did not blatantly trip him, did not go out and outstretch his leg. Rocco Rios Novo held his ground, and Sam Sturridge runs into him, for lack of a better phrase, because he could, he's trying to go around him, but he does crash into him. Now, Rocco Rios Novo is allowed to stand his ground, in my opinion, right? You're allowed to take up some place on the field. It's not you can just disappear into thin air. So I agree that it shouldn't have been a penalty kick. At least that would have been my decision if I was the referee. But there is contact, and I can see where an officiating crew perceives that as a penalty kick. Doesn't mean that I would make that call, but I can see where a referee makes that call. So it's a tough one. Inter Miami lost out on that refereeing decision.
Yes.
Good feedback. Thank you, Alonso. You think it's not a penalty kick?
No.
Bueno, it was a penalty kick in the game. It leads to a goal for Nashville. They're up 1-0. Before halftime, just before halftime, Inter Miami gives up another goal on a set piece. So Nashville didn't even score on Inter Miami in this game from the run of play. It happened off a penalty kick and off a corner kick. Ian Frey gets beat on the mark and on the rebound or mop-up duty. The ball gets put into the back of the net from close range. Inter Miami try to fight their way back into it. They try to claw themselves back into the game. They never really got going. They never really were that sharp, that good. They get a late goal, some hope, some life from Lionel Messi, un golazo from the right half space at the top of the 18-yard box. Fires a shot to the top corner, casi con asco, almost with disdain because he hit it so hard. It was a really good goal. But that was one of Messi's very few great moments in this game. And that was one of very few great moments for Inter Miami in this game. You could say what you want about the refereeing, about the penalty kick. Inter Miami did not have a good game. They did not play well. In my opinion, they were deserved losers in this one. No, merecieron perder because they just came out flat. And this is the concern with Inter Miami, that if Messi's not at his brightest, at his best, that they struggle to generate good soccer.
Well, but also I think it's the first game in the cold rain. You know, I mean, right now in the south is 70 degrees. You know, so but that's something that they need to understand quick, because if Cincinnati advance and they advance, they will play in a much colder environment.
So let's look. No, go ahead.
No, and just, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to travel a day before the game, either playing in Cincinnati or stay there the week.
Now, King.Callum says Inter Miami rely too much on Messi. And I think most of us would agree with that.
Yeah,
most people,
I mean,
collectively, no tienen buen fútbol. Like even in the first game of this series where they win 3-1, it wasn't like they wowed you with amazing soccer. It wasn't like a master class.
But it is like Barcelona, you know, like he looks for Jordi Alba or Suarez.
But collectively, Alonso,
collectively, no, but I don't know.
They play particularly well. What they rely on is.
But I look at the players that they have. You're gonna tell me that Maxi Falcon is like a builder. I mean, like a build person from the back. No, he's not. You know, he's like a old school center back. You know, Ian Fries, I think he has a good touch. So I mean, who was the other center back? Lujan? No,
Allen.
No, Allen. Come on, no, Allen is just a warrior. But
so this is
technical play.
This is another part of the game that we can talk about. Luis Barrios 9533. The rule is you make contact and fall into penalty. Salud, Alonso.
Thank you.
Conversely, Allende's shirt is pulled and the guy does not fall, and that's the game story right there. So Luis Barrios is talking about another controversial play, otra jugada polémica in the first half, in which Tadeo Allende gets on the end of a good cross in front of goal, but he shoots the ball wide of the frame. A very Allende-like effort. Just as many goals that we've seen him score well this year, we've also seen him miss some bad ones. He's had some bloopers this year that have come to define his season. There was a shirt pull. There was a jersey pull. There is jostling to prevent him from making that run as he's entering the box. A referee could call that as a penalty kick. They could call that as a penalty kick, but they didn't. They allowed play to continue. He shoots, he misses. I've talked to some people about it that they think the penalty kick should have still been called. I'm of the opinion on this one that it shouldn't be. If you give him the chance to take the shot and he misses, well, then that was the advantage was played. He didn't score. That's how it goes. That's my opinion. Alonso, from Inter Miami's perspective, they can talk about the referees, but the game itself, from start to finish, was not good enough. Was not good enough. And in the first game of this series, they played a very subpar team. They did their job, but they played a very subpar Nashville. A Nashville that got away from its strengths. And a Jacob Schaffelberg that was very poor. In this leg, Jacob Schaffelberg wasn't the starter anymore. Nashville corrected that. And they got back to playing a little bit more their brand. And they were very physical. Let's look at the numbers. I'm going to show you the numbers, Alonso.
Yeah, show me.
Game 2. This is game 2. Shots 11 for Inter Miami, 10 for Nashville. Only 3 on target for Inter Miami, and one of those 3 is the golazo for Messi late on. Nashville had 5 shots on target. Possession. Where's possession? Is possession there? Possession is not listed. Fouls is the one I wanted to point to. 15 by Nashville, 10 by Inter Miami, 0 yellow cards for Inter Miami, and 5 for Nashville. Now let's very quickly compare that to the first game of this series. Inter Miami had 13 fouls to Nashville 17. Inter Miami had 2 yellow cards. Nashville only had 1. So Nashville is clearly playing a very physical style. Metiendo bastante patada. A lot of fouls to interrupt the flow, the rhythm, chop things up.
They're at home, so it might fly, but it's gonna be a different. If they come with a tactic here in our Chelsea Stadium, it's gonna be different.
Well, we'll see. We'll talk about that here in a moment when we switch to the preview part. Let's listen to Mascherano on the performance levels in game 2, because clearly they were a drop from where they were in game 1.
Es que yo acá no estoy, mira, la realidad que ustedes suelen analizar resultados, yo no analizo el resultado, analizo el juego antes que el resultado. Y bueno, ya obviamente analizaremos qué es lo que hicimos mal, qué tenemos que mejorar, pero eso obviamente será de puertas adentro. No estoy acá para estar señalando hoy qué hicimos mal. Seguramente ustedes, como suelen analizar el resultado, hoy verán todo malo. No es mi caso. Seguramente tenemos cosas que mejorar, pero también hay una realidad. El equipo, más allá de las dificultades en las que nos puso hoy Nashville, ha competido, ha tratado de dar lo mejor, los jugadores se entregaron al máximo. No fue quizás la mejor noche que tuvimos en cuanto a lucidez, pero nada que reprochar a los jugadores en cuanto a la actitud, a la predisposición y a todo lo que han dado. Hasta el final han intentado conseguir el empate, han ido a buscar de todas las maneras posibles. Es fútbol. Hoy no tuvimos esa certeza, o no estuvimos tan certeros, mejor dicho. Bueno, a mejorar todo lo que tengamos que mejorar para, como dije anteriormente, toda la bronca que tenemos hoy, acumularla y largarla el sábado en Miami.
Alonso. You got the news on over there? Alonso, paraphrasing that from Javier Mascherano, he says, and this was my question, he says, you, media, tend to analyze results. He's like, I don't do that. I analyze the actual performances. Surely because we lost today, you guys will think everything was bad. Whereas for me, that's not the case. There will be things to correct, but we keep that behind closed doors amongst ourselves. We just weren't as clear or as sharp on the day as we could have been, but the team fought till the end, yada, yada, yada. Alonso, who on Inter Miami played well? Who do you think played well in this game?
Messi.
I wouldn't even say Messi. I thought Messi had a subpar game by his standard. He scored a golazo at the end with his, I think that might have been his first shot of the night.
He was trying too. He was trying.
He gets on the ball, but it wasn't his best game. There wasn't many passes.
Not his best game, but he played.
I don't think he was particularly good, and I think that explains why Inter Miami was not good, because when Messi's good, the team, the tide rises, the team rises with him. When he doesn't play so well, the team finds it difficult to find a way to break down the opposition. Not saying it never happens. It just becomes a lot more difficult. And in this game, I don't think no hay nadie que se salva. There's not one person in the group that stepped on that field and Mascherano on the sidelines that I think you could say had a good game. Rocco Rios Novo had some moments. I will acknowledge that. But he also had the questionable penalty kick called against him for doubting, por dudar. So if that's one of your better players on the night, then clearly you didn't do all that well. Maybe you could say Noah Allen or Peluca Falcon did okay, right? Because Nashville doesn't score from the run of play, right? One comes from a penalty kick, the other one from a corner kick. Neither one of them were involved in the second goal. So maybe you could mention them. But overall, it wasn't a good game. And Inter Miami is the team that's expected to have possession, to attack, to be the team that controls, dictates the tempo. El rival juega, yes. The opposition plays too. But Inter Miami, by and large, on paper, is expected to be the heavy favorite.
Yeah.
They were not. Alonso, we switch gears to this weekend. It's familiar territory for Inter Miami. They welcome Nashville back to Chase Stadium for the decider. Very similar to last year against Atlanta United. It's win or go home at this point. Well, I guess you could tie and then go to penalty kicks and then
you have to win anyways.
Yeah, but you have to win. You can win the shootout. The game ends in a tie. Bueno, it's do or die time, Alonso. Inter Miami has to step up their game. They will be without Luis Suarez. So that's one hole, or that's one change that you're going to have to make. What do you think Inter Miami does differently after game 2, with the caveat that Suarez is out? Knowing that Suarez is out, knowing that you have to fill his position. What do you do if you're Inter Miami? Is that the only change you make? Suarez out, someone comes in? Or do you make more changes?
I mean, I can say 2, but I think the fact that they're going to put Allende as a number 9, probably Telasco Segovia is going to be in the middle.
I don't think so.
And Baltazar as a winger or in the midfield too. No, it's going to be De Paul, Busquets, Baltazar. You have to put Allende as the number 9.
So I agree with you that Allende is going to start up top with Messi. I think that's clear. I think we've seen prior moments where something similar has happened. Allende is effectively he's the backup number 9 on this team. Yeah. Even though he's a starting right winger as well. Now with Allende up top, pairing with Messi and Mascherano's usual 4-4-2, that leaves a wide right winger position open. I don't agree that Telasco Segovia will be the guy that comes in. You could make the case, like I think you're making, that you could put Baltazar Rodriguez on the right, Telasco Segovia, who's left-footed, on the left, have him tuck in centrally to be kind of like a third central midfielder, allow Jordi Alba to get those overlapping runs like we've seen at several points in this season. I could hear that argument, and maybe that's an option that Mascherano is considering. But if I had to put money on it, if I had to bet on it, if I had to predict, which I'm going to do here, I think Baltazar Rodriguez starts on the left. Matteo Silvetti starts on the right.
Yeah, I forgot Matteo Silvetti. Yeah.
Good under 20 World Cup. Inter Miami's high on him. He was getting some good minutes. He is very good. He's good on the ball. He's good on the dribble. Can bring an added element to the team. Now, inexperience is there because he's young. And this is a big match with big stakes. That's the gamble you take, but I do think he can add something to the attack. I also think that Lasko Segovia at this point is just not one of the preferred options right now for those wide positions. I think it's Allende. I think it's Baltasar Rodriguez. I think it's Toto Silvetti. That's his nickname, by the way, guys. He also gets called Toto, just like Toto Aviles. This is the thing. Mascherano caught us by surprise, too, the first time he referenced him as Toto. But I think they're all preferred options out wide over De Lasko Segovia, which is kind of mind-boggling because Segovia is one of the leading goal scorers on this team this year across all competitions. But football is not just about goals. It's also about styles. It's also about fits. It's also about
nationality.
You said it, not me. It's also about profiles. At the back, any changes at the back?
No.
Rocco Rios Novo starts again.
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, why Ustadi was benched? Because he was injured?
Ustadi has not played for the last few games, and it's just been a coach's decision. Now,
yeah,
I don't buy that as being the complete reason. There's probably a little more to it than that, but that's been the
Rio knows.
So his mistake in the last game doesn't make you question it. Doesn't make you think twice about it.
No.
So I agree with you that Mascherano will start Rios Novo again. I do think he should maybe consider Ustadi. I do think unless Ustadi's carrying some injury that just prevents him from playing or having full range of motion, if that's the case, then you have to go Rios Novo. But if Ustadi is healthy enough, I think you have to consider it. But I agree with you. Rios Novo will start. Jordi Alba, Ian Frey, I think at the fullback positions, I don't think he changes away from Luca Falcon and Noah Allen. So I think we have our predicted lineup there. Rios Novo, Ian Frey, Peluca Falcon, Noah Allen, Jordi Alba, Toto Silvetti, Sergio Busquets, Rodrigo De Paul, Baltasar Rodriguez, Lionel Messi, and Tadeo Allende. 4-4-2. Not having Suarez, though, impacts the bench because now with Toto Silvetti starting, you have one less attacking weapon if you need one off the bench. Now you're going to have to rely on, obviously, De Lasko Segovia, but maybe even Fafa Pico if you need a goal, and Fafa Pico clearly hasn't been playing a whole lot lately. Alonso, prediction time. I see you're getting sleepy over there. Does Inter Miami avoid elimination again in the first round? Does it exercise its Brad Guzan-sized demons from a year ago? Or are we going to be here early next week, maybe even on Sunday, talking about the debacle of another early elimination for Inter Miami at the hands of Nashville?
Well, I think Inter Miami is going to win easy, 3-0, 2-0.
Do you think they win easy? Okay. L.10.y says, get Allen the fuck out. All right. Clearly not a Noah Allen fan. Before I give my prediction, I want you to hear some comments from yesterday, Wednesday's availability from Maximiliano Falcon. He talked about the game, and one of the comments he made stood out to me. So let's listen to it here as we start to wind down the show.
Hay que afrontarlo el fin de semana de esa manera y por eso estamos entrenando día a día, por cómo nos va a jugar ellos, que ya van 2 partidos, ya nos empezamos a conocer un poco más y bueno, y sabemos que va a ser un partido también picante por ahí, como decimos nosotros, en que va a haber guerra, que es lo que nosotros vamos a tratar de implementar nuestro juego, pero luchar cada duelo y ganarlo, porque ahí están los partidos también.
He says they expect a heated game, a feisty game, un partido picante, that there will be a war, and that while Inter Miami does want to implement and impose its style of play, that they also need to fight for and win their duels because games are also won there. It sounds to me, Alonso, like Mascherano and the team are going to be looking to match Nashville's physicality. Nashville has been very physical and, again, very foul prone to interrupt that flow and that rhythm during these first two games, especially this last one.
Yes, because I mean the way he talks is gonna be like we're gonna go pressure from the beginning.
I think they're gonna look to be aggressive. I think they're gonna look to win the 50-50s, las pelotas divididas. I think they're going to want to take a step up in terms of their physicality in this game. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see more fouls from Inter Miami, more yellow cards. But we'll see. We'll see. My prediction, Alonso, I'll give you a stat. Nashville's win this past weekend, the 2-1 victory, was the first time that Nashville beat Inter Miami in 9 meetings during the Lionel Messi era here in South Florida. I don't see it happening again. I don't see lightning striking twice. I think Inter Miami will get it done. I don't know if it'll be easy. I don't predict a blowout like you do. I think it will be difficult. They will have to suffer at certain moments. But I think Inter Miami gets through to the next round. I think that they will find a way, either Messi's magic, because I don't see Messi having 2 duds in a row, or someone else steps up, Toto Silvetti steps up, but I think Inter Miami gets the job done. Now, I also thought something similar last year. I said there was no way that Inter Miami would lose to Atlanta United and get eliminated. I didn't see it. I still don't see it this year. I could be wrong. Could be wrong again. But I don't see it. I think Inter Miami takes care of business and they're through to the next round. Alonso, very quickly to wrap up, we still have to talk about one more topic that I know you'll enjoy this one because you're Mr. Farandula. Rodrigo De Paul on last week's show was criticized by Andrea and I, and then I shared that clip on social media, and, well, it gained some traction. A lot of people defending Rodrigo De Paul's decision to go to Argentina between Game 1 and Game 2 of this series. 18, 19-hour round-trip flight, hanging out to watch his girlfriend in concert, dancing among the crowd, smiling, all of that. Well, some people defended it, some people criticized it. Rodrigo De Paul apparently did it again. He apparently, after Game 2, despite suffering a 2-1 loss, apparently he took another 18-hour, 19-hour round-trip flight back to Argentina, all smiles again, to be at the next show of his girlfriend, singer Tini, her festival concert performance. He did it again, apparently. These are images that were posted by Juanes's wife on her Instagram. Juanes is a Colombian singer or musician. He's a pop artist. And his wife posted these images in Argentina. Rodrigo De Paul apparently at rehearsals on Sunday, less than a day after Inter Miami loses to Nashville SC, and he's smiling. La está pasando bien. La está pasando bien. He's having a good time there. Alonso, do you see a problem with this?
I mean, if Mascherano is tracking this, I don't see a problem because I think Rodrigo De Paul strongly believe that every coach has to treat each individual player differently. So in this situation, he's happy by going there on day off. Mascherano understand it and be like, okay, you go, relax. But when you come here, you work hard so we can win championships.
So you think it's okay for a player in a decisive playoff series to go to Argentina, not once, but twice? I'm not asking you if Mascherano thinks it's okay or not.
If he has the permission, it's okay.
So if he had the permission to go party till 9 a.m, he that's also okay?
I mean, here the permission is okay. Now, he wants to take care of his body. Whatever you can get in the airport is on him.
So I will reiterate what I said last week with Andrea. My opinion is una cachetada a la seriedad, the smack in the face of the importance and the seriousness of this series, of this moment for Inter Miami. Rodrigo De Paul had a bad game individually, as Inter Miami did collectively against Nashville. There were some balls that he just lost off of quick sprints, short distances, or he was just out-possessed or out-muscled off the ball, which you normally don't see. He looked flat, just like Inter Miami looked flat, just like you look sleepy right now. And he did not have a good game. If he helps Inter Miami advance, if he has a decent performance, I think all of this will get pushed to the rearview mirror, or be put in the past, or start to get put in the past. But if they don't, then this is going to be a bigger deal, because it will illustrate a lack of focus from him. It will illustrate Inter Miami as a project being as much about the glitz and glamour and the non-soccer things as much as the soccer things. And for a team that has championship aspirations, that's probably not what you want. I wrote a piece for 442 this week. Go check it out if you haven't, where I quote what he said when he initially arrived. And what he said when he initially arrived was to the extent of, winning has to make you feel really happy, and losing has to hurt. You can't be indifferent either way. And that's the type of standard that they had to set at Inter Miami. Those were his words, paraphrasing, but those were his words. Yet him going to Argentina to spend time with his girlfriend and being at a concert, dancing, smiling, shaking hands with celebrities behind the scenes or backstage, that shows you don't really care. And that doesn't match and align with the words that he said when he first got here. But again, he'll have a chance to put that past him. Hopefully for Inter Miami's sake and his sake, they do, because otherwise it's going to get ugly. It'll get ugly, just general dissecting another early elimination. I did say I don't think Inter Miami gets eliminated. I don't think that they lose. They could tie this game and be out on penalty kicks, though. So, this could be, if things play out a certain way, this could be the last games of Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets' career. I'm curious to see the type of turnout that Inter Miami gets from the fans on Saturday. Will it be a packed house? It's an important game. Hopefully for Inter Miami's sake, they get a good crowd. Alonso, any final thoughts, my friend, before you go to sleep or you fall asleep on us here? You're on mute, Alonso.
No, I say my day starts every day at 4 a.m. But no, I mean,
are you coming? Are you coming to the game? You'll be here? Okay.
Approved already. VIP, I said, next to Mas. But I mean, they need to play like the first game, and I mean, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. I don't think Nashville will go all out to try to dominate. I think they're going to try to do counterattacks.
I think Nashville, their best approach is to try to play a bit, not fully, but try to play a bit. If you just sit back and welcome pressure, you're asking for it, especially away from home against Messi and co. Look, again, I think not having Suarez could be a blessing in disguise. I know Suarez had the cross to the Messi headed goal, or the diving header in the first game, and he brings different elements. He's still dangerous in certain ways, but he also limits you in a lot of ways, right? He can't stretch the back line. He's prone to potentially being a hothead and losing his cool. So I think it could be as much of a blow as it could be. It could also be a blessing in disguise for Inter Miami to have younger, fresher legs. Toto Silvetti can dribble, man. He can take people on the dribble. You saw it at the Club World Cup. You saw it at the Under-20 World Cup. He can take some guys on. And maybe that's something that Inter Miami's attack needs more of, especially in this type of decisive game. We'll see. Luis Barrios, 9533 says, it's disrespectful to the entire team, which goes to show that Mascherano is a figurehead. No renowned coach allows that in any team. L.10.Y, who's clearly Messi's cousin or somebody related to Los Argentinos, says, Inter Miami bums should consider themselves lucky that they are getting to play with Barca 4 and Rodrigo De Paul. FIFA Highlights 921 says it's Chase Stadium, so I think we will win. Well, we'll see. And if they do win, we'll see who waits them in the next round. From that point forward, it's every round is just one game. So win or go home. Alonso, I told you at the beginning I would share with you my individual costume that I wore for Halloween. I know this is not soccer related, but I feel like sharing with you all the same. Voila! The incredible Hulk Hogan. The legendary Hulk Hogan. Rest in peace. I actually had planned to dress up as him earlier in the year. And then when he passed away, obviously I was like, I had reservations, but then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it all the same as an honor to the legend. Hulk Hogan was one of my childhood heroes growing up. So there you go. That was my costume this year. Look, by the way, speaking of Hulk Hogan, look, he's right here, brother.
Nice.
There he is right there. There he
is.
Man. I have him on my desk right here on my desk. He's just chills here on my desk. Something to look at. Anyway, all right. We will leave it there. Alonso, next year I'm going to have you dress up as Mascherano or something. Yeah. Paluca Falcon, something. Pero I will see you, my friend, on Saturday at the stadium. We'll see what Mascherano and Co say tomorrow. I'm sure Mascherano's not going to hold back on the refereeing again. Maybe he will. Big night for Inter Miami on Saturday night. We'll see how it goes. We will be back early next week. Win, lose, draw, advance, elimination, whatever the case is, we'll be back early next week. Alonso, go get some rest, my friend. And you know what? Maybe next year you can dress up as Trucchini, Inspector Gadget. And there's a backstory to that, which we'll share another time. That could have actually been your nickname instead of Alonso. But all right, we will leave it there. So for Alonso Contreras, a.k.a. El Búho, Alonso, I am Franco Pinizo. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for commenting. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We will talk to you guys in a few days. You have been listening to Miami Total Football Radio. Have a great night, everybody.